Hello and welcome back to the Knowledge Hub, where we will host a discussion with Group Marryclaire, which is one of the world's most distinguished media brands. Spanning 25 markets, Marryclaire engages and connects with more than 85 million women around the world. I am very pleased to welcome Anne-Marie Poncet, Managing Director of Group Marryclaire in France, in charge of the group's digital platforms, strategic development, and the direct management of two core brands. Almeric's key focus includes content and tech innovation. We also have with us Emily Ferguson, who is e-commerce director at Marryclaire UK, where she runs the digital e-commerce division and has grown e-commerce revenue by 675% since she joined in 2017. Emily is joined by Lisa Oxenham, journalist, creative director, and one of the world's top beauty editors. She is also a brand strategist, an influencer, and an entrepreneur. And lastly, we're delighted to have with us Fion Feng, who is Digital Director of Marryclaire China. Fion's focus is to create dynamic digital content and deliver new brand programs and campaigns that both leverage the influence of Marryclaire in China. So today our subject is from content to commerce, how traditional media can help beauty brands boost online business. Almeric, I wanted to start with you and ask just a general question to kick the conversation off there about, given what has happened over the past year with COVID-19, how has that accelerated your digital transformation plans?
Well, good morning. First. Well, I would say that as a digital media transformation on digital has been the heart of our strategy since years. So I would say that rather than a transformation, it's more an adaptation that we have to have to the circumstances of the COVID. And also we had to accelerate our digital plan in 2021. So in fact, we have noticed different changes, major changes. The first one is that we had huge audience on our websites because people were unfortunately at home, so they were looking for information on the COVID, but also information or ideas to spend their time at home. So it's clear that on that point, we had to adapt the creation of our content. We were more oriented as usual on news and more on lifestyle content, beauty tips, wellness, DIY, or gardening were topics that were had very good audience. We had also to adapt through initiative, like for example, we have developed a website called Être Ensemble, we can translate by be together, where in fact we have syndicated all the content from all the websites of Marryclaire France. It was a place where people could go and find information, news from all the brands of our group. We had also to find new solutions where we were facing troubles. The first one was the distribution of our magazines. You know that web stores were closed, so it was very difficult for the distribution of the magazines. So we have to imagine things on digital in order to make people buy our magazine, read our magazine. And I think we have done a good job because we had an increase of 50% of the distribution on digital through this period.
Okay.
We had also to accelerate some projects and to move forward what we have planned to do in Q4, for example, the paywall. They have been developed right now, so it has been also a change for us. And like you are doing here, we had to digitalize also our events because we are producing a lot of events. One of those is Marryclaire Think Tank, which is acting for equality for women. And it used to be a physical events. It has been this year a totally digital events. And we had quite good results because we had more than 100,000 people there. So it's clear that we had constantly to adapt to this crisis. And it's been for us good ways to imagine new things also.
Okay, so constantly adapting. that's something you probably have to look at in terms of your relationships also with beauty brands who are shifting their media budgets to digital increasingly. It's something that's been happening over the past few years, but I think it has accelerated, like a lot of digital features over the past year as well. What has been the impact on Marryclaire, and how are you offering those beauty brands more visibility on digital formats?
Well, it's clear that it has been difficult. We have seen definitely a big shift in budget allocation through this period. So I must say that this has been a very difficult time for print, as we have seen, in fact, cancellation of campaign, but also postponing. So we are very confident in the fact that when everything will be ended, at the end, brands will come back to print, and they have said that for us. We can say also that beauty is still there in our magazines, but that's clear that it's been a tough time for print. So we have to be very creative, and it has been very challenging for the teams to imagine new fields for the brands, especially on digital. So first of all, we are a content company, so we have created some space, especially on the content. So we have developed different formats of content like guides, tutorials, expert advice, list of ideas. We have tried to develop more interactive content through for example, videos. We have improved the production of the videos. We have developed more video programs on platforms like at Snapchat, where we have developed 5 new programs. So we have to create new concept, in fact. We have also developed more podcasts so that we can go back to the brands and offer them new space to express themselves. I would say also that we had to move on the commercial part and commercial product. We had to be very creative to propose brands new ways to express themselves and also try to help them to sell more product. So we have developed a new commercial product. One of them is Drive to eShop. It's a combining program where we are combining traditional media, but also SEO, database, social, in order to create traffic to the brands' shops.
Okay, I'll come back to that because we're going to talk a little bit about media and e-commerce. I'll come back to that, but I just want to pick up there on what you said about content. Maybe Lisa, we could go to you for that first. There's a wide range of content available today, and all of the brands this week, we have heard them talk about how important it is to have content. There's influencer content, and a lot of the beauty companies, whether they're retailers or brands, are saying they're becoming publishers as well. How can a brand like Marryclaire stand out given the amount of content that consumers have today, and how can the brand remain relevant in this environment?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me to this panel today, because it's a really interesting but quickly evolving conversation that we've seen over the last year. So it's been really challenging, but it's been incredibly exhilarating as well in publishing and the beauty world working together. And we have sped up what was inevitably going to happen with digital content creation, which is merging editorial features, videography, photography, together with audience engagement, interaction, close-knit brand relationships, and more brand exposure and product sales because of that. Now, just to give you a bit of background, last year at the beginning of lockdown, we flipped our shoot business model and turned it remote, and we created a virtual beauty shoot. Now, the virtual beauty shoots and virtual shoots means that we have flexibility globally. So one day we might be shooting in Australia, the next in LA. And this means it's a much leaner and greener way of working. And sustainability is such a strong part of our DNA. We've just had our first sustainability festival, and we've got our sustainability awards coming up soon. So this was a really important element for us. But how we're standing out in a world that's saturated with content, this is a really good question. But firstly, we are established experts in creating editorial content with authority and authenticity. Now, this is incredibly important and on topics that we know a large audience are looking for. That's how we're trained. We work with the highest caliber of hair, makeup artists, photographers, filmmakers, and the highest profiles of influencers, models, celebrities across the whole world because of our authority in beauty, our huge reach, and our intellectual approach at Marryclaire. And then we put a very specific team together. And now this is the key point, where an influencer or a brand might create something around themselves. This is very personal to them, and it can be on very one level, but we're inviting an influencer to our team and we nurture this energy. So we're working with influencers or brands who have strong Marryclaire DNA, and they might have an issue that needs to be addressed, and then we are helping them to empower and amplify their strong voice by using them to front our campaign. So take, for example, we've just shot Jamila Jamil for the Body Shop's self-love campaign, and we really amplified her voice. And this was the perfect example of us all coming together to work together to create this incredible content. And potentially we can work with anyone this way, because that's the beauty of working digitally. It's absolutely limitless. And this is definitely an idea that has longevity, and together this is the perfect combination, I would say, for our audience and brand wanting to partner with us, because they get the excitement, the entertainment, the education, the reach, the personality, the affinity, the expertise, and the editorial direction in one project. So we've worked with so many brands over the past year. We've worked with Shiseido, L'Occitane, Dior, The Body Shop, Henkel, Authentic Beauty Concept, Armani, Clé de Peau. We've worked with so many great brands. And even though this idea is still evolving, everybody's really excited about the results.
Okay, interesting. A completely different approach to perhaps, even 5 or 10 years ago. Are there any specific formats that you think are working better than others, or that you're really pushing? Because there's a lot of experimentation going on, a lot of tests, and I would imagine. Are there specific formats that are doing better than others that you will really push in the future?
Yeah, well, it's really exciting actually in terms of formats because we can experiment. That's key. And one of the biggest objectives for our shoots, so a day of shoots, whether it's on Zoom or location, we are delivering a 360 of assets, but we're really focusing on video, either in a masterclass format or a beautiful or funny conceptual film that's entertaining, that's inspiring, that's educational. Video is the now and it's the future. In all its format, video brings beauty to life. But we're also capturing beautiful stills, GIFs, cinemagraphs, behind the scenes videos, and we're also taking it one step further. So we're now live streaming on YouTube and our other social platforms, which is incredibly exciting because we're inviting the audience to come onto our editorial set with us. So there is a lot of engagement and interaction there. And we are also sampling product pre-shoot so that the audience has the product in their hands while watching the show, firing off questions to the global experts that they have the experts to in real time. And we've just done this with Clé de Peau, Authentic Beauty Concept, and L'Occitane. And it was really successful, and it's really exciting to be involved in stuff like this from the early concept. So taking it one step further again would be to sell the products live. Again, this is very much about doing this in an editorial way with authority and authenticity, as opposed to doing it more commercially. It's like bringing QVC onto our editorial set. And this is also a really exciting idea when Backstage opens up again at Fashion Week, and us journalists are backstage talking to the experts in real time and even selling the product real time. So for example, with the new launch that Pat McGrath is a product that she's using at Louis Vuitton, and we can see her applying it with the on the models, and then you can buy it then. All of this is really exciting, and we're definitely marrying artificial intelligence with human interaction, and that real time is what leads to essential watching and something that isn't predictable. So yeah, this goes back to a very human level, even though we're using the very best of modern technology.
Okay, interesting. I just want to actually focus now on that, what you mentioned there, the commerce aspect and bringing together this new media with commerce. Almeric, I want to go back to you because you touched on it earlier about, you know, looking to diversify your business. In the future, where do you see your main alternative revenue streams coming from?
Well, I think what is very important to understand is that we're a content producer, and I think it won't change in the future. We will still handle and searching for talents, journalists who will inform our audience and world. So for that reason, I think that the main alternative will come from the relationship that we have between the brand and our readers. So this future revenue will depend on the specific relationship. And I see, in fact, two major alternatives based on that. The first one is what we know from our readers. So it's consumer-centric data that we have. And from this perspective, I think that the more we will be able to understand what they want, what they like, the more new business we will be able to develop. So I think there, for sure, and those obviously the subscription models that we are beginning to develop, we see that when we are targeting the right audience at the right moment with the right topics, people can, even when it's magazine and not newspaper, they are okay to spend money to get content. So that's the first one. The second one is obviously also commerce, I would say, e-commerce, but our own e-commerce. Because the Marryclaire group in France is already selling product, its own product, and it's mainly edition, books and so on, or thematic boxes that we have developed around multi or DIY. So I think that e-commerce will be also a part of our development. And as we see just before, for sure, content commerce, the way to bring traffic and sales to our clients will be also a new revenue stream. There is also a second alternative that I see, but it's more related on the awareness of the brands, of our brands. So there are different ways of stretching our brands. The first one is event. So as I said before, we have already developed a lot of events around Marryclaire, but if I see in France for all our brands, 50% of these brands have already events. So that could be exhibition, conference, but also we have developed boat cruise, thematic boat cruise. We are now organizing also VIP weekend around the brands, where we give access to exclusive sites to our clients. So that's also something very interesting that we want to continue. There is another interesting alternative that we have developed in France. We have created schools. We are using the experience of the brand, the content of the brand. Some of our journalists are making courses to students. So it's also a good way for us to see a new revenue stream for the brands. So in that case, we're providing the content, but also we are using our platform, a digital platform, to give visibility to the school and also to recruit new students.
Okay. So a lot of different diverse ways of creating new revenue in this sort of new digital world, I imagine there. Just to go back to the shoppable content that Lisa mentioned also, is there a danger there in terms of perhaps putting readers off with an overly commercial offer? Almeric, I think, could you maybe go a little bit closer to the microphone just so we can hear you as well?
You can hear me well?
Yes, if you could speak up a little bit. We just had a comment from the audience, but.
Okay, sorry. Is it better now?
It's better, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Again, I think that we are content creators, so that means that we are recognized for the quality of the journalist, their ability to analyze, relay, surprise the audience, but also inspire. Whether it's done, it used to be done, or it's done on paper, digital, video, social media. And I think that will be the same in the future. We will be helping brands to develop their e-commerce business by offering at first a qualitative environment. And that's the best things we can provide to be sure that the consumer will be able to get informed in a good way and in a good environment. So we will develop different things to help people develop and brands develop their e-commerce. It will begin with sampling. Lisa told us about that before. We will also developing shopping guides on our website, but also on other websites, because we see that people come to us and asking for our analysis of the product, and they want to bring that on their website. We will also develop vouchers, like it's done I think in the UK, and we're experimenting now live shopping. So all these initiatives will help brands to develop e-commerce with our brands.
Okay, Emily, I will turn to you, I think, now, just for your expertise in terms of the e-commerce. I know that's your focus there. There's a lot of social media networks or communities. I know Marryclaire has a community as well, are looking to get into commerce. But what advantage would you say your e-commerce business would have over these platforms? Because, you know, there's lots of them that are really trying to marry the content and commerce aspect. What can you offer that they can't?
That's a really good question. I think it's great that social media companies are starting to do commerce. I think it's just another avenue to reach customers. At the moment on the Marryclaire edit, we have all of our 1.3 million products live on Pinterest as well. We will be pushing our products live on Instagram. So it kind of gives from a commercial, from a Marryclaire point of view, we obviously have the leverage of the expertise of our editorial team, and we have the kind of the brand identity that goes along with Marryclaire, and how it's, you know, very much associated to fashion and beauty. And I think, you know, but social commerce does allow us to reach new brands or new customers in a new way. And I think it also opens up a lot of opportunity for brands, you know, especially small companies or small sole traders, to go and say, I'm going to set up a social first business, and you know, they run all of their sales through Instagram or Facebook, and that can be super successful, because, you know, in previous periods, you know, you were reliant on Google, on SEO to, you know, to drive sales but now with the rise of being able to actually transact and kind of fulfill that transaction on social, it actually opens up a lot more competition and a lot more opportunity for people to take advantage of.
Okay, you mentioned there the Marryclaire edit. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And I mean, I know that you've seen very strong growth with that. If you can just explain how you put that into place, and maybe some of those drivers for growth.
No problem. When I came on board nearly 4 years ago now, at Marryclaire, I wanted to be able to expand what we were doing in the content space. And I found there's quite a lot of restrictions in terms of content, writing fashion content, updating, and it's great. And I think if people want a curated list of products, I think it's amazing. But we wanted to expand what we were doing with the technology that I've created. We're actually able to expand our keywords. So we now reach 18,500 keywords, fashion keywords, that we wouldn't have been able to reach with content alone. So these pages are shopping pages. They're automatically updated on a daily basis with new products. So you have things like Gucci trainers, Givenchy trainers, Yves Saint Laurent bags. And then, in terms of we're just about to launch tomorrow, actually, Marryclaire Edit Beauty, which is going to be our beauty platform, where we're launching exclusively with Net-a-Porter. So we have just come and exclusively launched with them tomorrow, which is very exciting. So it's all going to press tomorrow. So you've got a bit of an insight tomorrow before it goes to press. So that's very exciting. And like I said, it's a fashion aggregator. It aggregates 1.3 million products from over 55 stores. And what that means in sort of simple terms is a shopper can go on and shop every single brand that they love in the same place.
Okay, that's interesting what you're doing with beauty there. Can you tell us a bit more about maybe your objectives for that, how you see that progressing there? I mean, obviously you have the experience in fashion, so how will it differ in terms of your strategy for beauty?
Do you know what? It won't differ too much. We have the ability to rank for beauty terms as well. So we'll be following exactly the same strategy that we had for fashion. And we'll be applying that to our beauty side of the site. So we'll be, ranking for different terms. We've launched exclusively with Net-a-Porter, but after that, we will be looking to expand our beauty offering with plenty more other brands have been sort of asking when they can get on. So that's very exciting. So yes, it will just allow, our customers as well to be able to view and to be able to, see a wider selection of products. And, it'll follow the same premise that the editorial team will have, all of their favorite products curated. So users will be able to shop lots of different products in the same place, all with whatever the fashion beauty editor is looking at and interested in at that time. Okay, interesting. And can you tell us a little bit about also your sampling service with the Marryclaire Beauty Drawer? What's been your experience so far with that? Because obviously, sampling has been difficult over the past year in terms of with, all of the online buying, etc. And it's more difficult in terms of going to a store. Can you expand a little bit on about what you have seen there with that service? Yeah, no problem. So we launched the Marryclaire Beauty Drawer last August time. I think it was like the 1st of August we launched last year. So we've now got 50,000 users. So the benefits for the user, obviously, part of my strategy is to really look at how we reduce our reliance on Google and how do we really look at user engagement? How do we bring people onto the Marryclaire journey with us? We want people to be engaged with the Marryclaire brand from lots of different touch points, and I can kind of go into other touch points as well later on, but within that they have we have the beauty drawer, so that we target the samples, so the brand gets to sample people where the product is very much aligned to them, so they know they're going to target someone with dry skin. But ultimately, the customer also knows that they're going to get a product that's right for them, because, and that's what beauty is, very unique and it's very, subjective, and everybody has different skin. And it's about aligning and personalizing beauty for our audience, but also, providing an additional advantage and benefits to our brands and advertisers. Okay. You mentioned there about having less dependence on Google. Is that possible? Well, I mean, we were doing that through data acquisition. Yeah, I mean, I think that is something that and through social as well. That's the whole, that's why we set up the Pinterest shop. That's why we kind of do partnerships. We focus a lot on partnerships. We focus a lot, and don't get me wrong, Google is obviously, an SEO is a very central to our strategy, you know, and it's something we kind of, you know, we don't go a day without talking about it. But at the same time, it's good to have other things that, you know, work, and other, you know, strategies to kind of drive growth and brand loyalty as well. You know, it's a very saturated market, and I think if we can offer something to our users, you know, that's over and above additional value, you know, they're going to keep coming back to Marryclaire for more, and it drives that customer engagement.
Okay, you mentioned there about the importance of data. Obviously, I mean, how is that helping your brand partners drive their growth as well? The data that you're getting. I mean, are you sharing that in any way, or how do you work that with your brands?
No, like I said, it's empowering. It's empowering us, and it's all comes back to the customer. You know, we have two data acquisition brands. We have the Marryclaire beauty drawer, which I've discussed, and we also have Marryclaire VIP, which is a cashback loyalty site. So again, that data is not, we don't obviously share that data. We don't share any data with brands either on the beauty drawer. We would only, on the brand's behalf, be able to reach out to our customers with a product that was right for our particular audience. And if say, for example, they wanted to opt in to hear more from that brand, but that would be down to the customer to want to do that. So in terms of empowering us, I think it's more about empowering the customer. And creating that customer engagement. It's so important. We want people to say, oh, we love Marryclaire because, you know, we got a free sample, or, you know, I you know, did all my online shopping through that platform, and I got, you know, £20 gift voucher with John Lewis. You know, that's the kind of thing that we want to achieve with our audience.
Okay, great. I'd like to see if Fionn is there. I know he was having some technical difficulties. Fionn, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Good. I wanted to talk about some of the trends in China, because obviously that's a market that's setting a lot of digital trends globally. What would you say in China are the main advantages or reasons for beauty brands to work with Marryclaire? Because China is a market, that is, you know, dominated by KOL content, online networks. What's the advantages for brands to partner with Marryclaire there?
Okay, so first I want to thanks for having me on this panel. It's really a good opportunity to communicate with each other. And I think there are two main reasons for what you just asked. First is that we have very strong relationship with the celebrities. So if the brands want to work with the celebrities, especially some of the top of them, they would need us to get the celebrity time. For example, we just shot a cover for Dior with Angelababy as their spokesperson. And Angelababy only let us to shoot a commercial video for Dior new lipstick collection because we are doing the cover for her. So, and the brand really can't have her time if not for us. So that's one of the big reasons why they still want to work with us. And the second is that we already have a whole digital team here in China. For the last 3 years, we have developed a lot digital content, especially for videos, to make the brands to convince us of ability to build good production videos for them. So we have done a lot of these commercials and social video for brands like Sicily, Saint Laurent, and Galan, and they need us more than just media. They think us as also a production partner as well now, both for fashion and beauty.
Okay, and how have you developed your e-commerce revenues using content?
And we actually have two awards for two biggest e-commerce festival here in China, and one is called the 618 Beauty Awards. Is for the mid-year shopping festival, and we work with the top one e-commerce live streamer called Miss via here, and brands would just pay to get their product to recommend it her because she can really drive the sales a lot. So that's one of our strengths to do. And the other one is top 100. I think everyone has it as well. And the brands really need this award to leverage their product so they can win the e-commerce festival battle. And so especially for the local brands, the domestic China local brands, it would be recommended and to be leveraged by Marryclaire. So we use those two awards to drive our e-commerce revenue here.
Okay, I wanted to ask you, because I know a lot of brands watch China to see what's going to come next in other markets. Are there any digital trends in beauty media in China that you're seeing that could be applied to Western markets? I know it's a very different ecosystem, but do you see trends that could work elsewhere?
I think, one trend that maybe haven't started on the Western market is to make SVG code interactive digital content. And we do a lot with brands on WeChat, but I think it could work very well on the website as well. It can make the traditional media content more fun and more interactive with the audience. So that the brands can get bigger exposure and a deeper connection with the target audience, and the audience would really like to share this kind of content than the traditional ones. And I think it's really important to branding ourselves, so the brand and the audience could see us more than just a traditional print media, but also a digital and more up-to-date media. So that's, I think, what maybe the other market can try.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much for that. Thank you to all of you, to Almeric, Emily, Lisa and Fionn for your time. It's been really interesting to talk about the convergence of content and commerce and how media and digital are evolving. Thanks again. And we will be back this afternoon to talk about emerging tech trends and also live streaming. In the meantime, please do visit our exhibition hub to see the beauty tech solutions on show. And there are also 2 webinars this afternoon on fragrance from The Perfumist and from Sentis, so don't miss those. And we'll see you this afternoon.